Sometimes you'll open up a session that you haven't seen before, and you'll get this message saying that you have missing files. So in this case, it says that I have 27 missing audio files. It's asking me what I want to do. There's three different choices that you have here. One, you could just skip all of the missing files. You can manually find and relink, which sometimes you have to do, and sometimes, most of the time, you can get away with automatically finding and relinking, or that's where we would start. But in this case, I'm not going to do that because I'm trying to show you different things with the tests that you're going to be taking later in the class. So I'm going to zoom in so we can see what's happening here. One thing that I wanted to show you, and something that shows up on the tests, is that there is a key command for each one of these once this window is open. So if I hit the command key on a Mac and the first letter, it's going to skip to the skip all. So if I hit command S, it's going to go to skip all. If I hit command M, it's going to go to manually find and relink. And if I hit command A, it's going to go to automatically find and relink. So what I want to show you is manually find and relink right now. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to hit enter because I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to click the mouse if I don't want to. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring up a relink window here, and it's going to ask me where it wants me to look for these files. So the smaller of a place that it has to look, the less time it's going to take. But there's also two important ways that you can actually accomplish this task. One of them is called find all candidates, and the other one is find links. So for finding all candidates, what that is like, let's say, I hope I don't have any files that are called like audio 1 or audio 2. What it does is it's going to look. First I have to select a place where I want it to try to find this, and I know that it's on the volume Scott Miller New, so I'm going to look there. So if I just have one file highlighted here, then I have a choice of either find links or find all candidates. The thing about find all candidates is it will find anything titled acoustic guitar body .dupe.1, etc. What this is for situations where you might have something that has a very generic file name, like audio 1 or something like that. You might have 1,000 files called audio 1 on your drive, and you might want to sort through these one at a time. So what find all candidates does is it will take one file and it will allow you to find many different possibilities, and then you get to sort through the possibilities. So most of these are pretty specific, so I'm just going to do it just so you can see it. I'll hit find all candidates. It's going to look for it. I probably should have narrowed my search a little bit more. And it's finding it, but it's searching the entire drive. If I was smarter, I would have narrowed it down quite a bit. So I'm going to stop, and I'm going to start again. Use it as a teaching moment. Oops, stop. Okay. Then instead of having all of these highlighted, I'm just going to highlight the ones that I think I might use. So I know I'm pretty sure that it's in something called Madison Parkway. There's also something that looks like called copy of Madison Parkway. So I'm going to go and I'm going to find it, and there it is right there. So I'm going to go to the Madison Parkway folder, and now if I do it, it's going to take significantly less time, and it immediately finds something. So it finds one, and it thinks is correct, but if it had multiple versions of these files, it might offer me some other choices. It allows me to audition these. I can hit play, and then I would be able to hear it. It tells me the file size, which might be important. And if this is the one that I want, and in this case I think it is, what I would do is I would click this little button here, and then I would do what's called linking it, and then I would have to commit the link. So it's going to ask me if I want to commit the links, and then I have to say yes. So to make these things actually stay, I'm going to actually have to commit the links. So now here's a different issue. So let's say I wanted to do all of these at once. I didn't want to do them one at a time. So I'm going to click the top one, shift click the bottom one, and you'll notice that the Find All Candidates light goes out. The reason for this is Pro Tools can't sort through a million audio files and find a million possibilities for each one at one point in time. But what it can do is it can look for very specific information in groups like this. So for that, I would have to use Find Links. So the difference with Find Links is it's not finding just generic information like a file name. It could, but most of the time what it's looking for is it's looking for the unique ID. So there might be another file with this same name, but it doesn't have this unique ID. It has something else, so it's just going to completely ignore it. So maybe you'll have two files called audio_01, and maybe one is 10 seconds long, one is 3 minutes long, and it will know which one it is based on this particular specific ID. So you can match it based on file name and file ID, or you could just split it up between just one of those things at a time. You can match format, so sometimes you'll have multiple copies. Maybe it's in a broadcast wave and you have another copy and it is in AIFF. Maybe you'll have multiple durations. Maybe you've consolidated a file or something like that. So in this case, these are kind of rare instances. So most of the time when we would do this, we would just use its default, which is find by name and file ID. I would click OK, and then it found all the files that I expected it to find. So once I've done that, I have to commit the links. So if I don't commit the links, then it's going to keep them as missing files. As soon as I say yes, this window is going to close, I believe. And I don't want it to close yet. So the thing that is the takeaway with this is Find All Candidates will allow you to only search one file at once, but it will find many possibilities as to what that file might be. That's for when you have more generic file names. If you want to do multiple files at the same time and just get the links, and you expect Pro Tools to do a good job finding it, then you would hit Find Links instead. Those are about 5 test questions right there in this video. So remember, at the beginning, we learned about the key commands. So the thing to remember about that is it's the command key and the first letter of those 3 different choices, skip all, whatever the other ones were. And then the other thing to remember is Find All Candidates allows you to only search one file at a time, find multiple responses, and Find Links allows you to do multiple files at once, but it relies on a unique ID and other information to search these specific things. I'm going to click yes and see what happens. So all these files go away. Then I would actually have to close this window. And that is finding missing files.